Hey everyone, welcome back to the 2025 Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois. Hope you guys are enjoying the awesome content we've been providing to you guys here on the channel. And this awesome piece of equipment behind me here, let me tell you guys, I feel like an ant standing next to this thing compared to the one that's sitting behind the camera here, which is a TR70 that y'all probably remember back when Grandpa said, I used to take the old TR70 out there and I'll be out there for 12 hours on one field. Now, you can spend 12 hours and get multiple fields done with this. And I am here with Cole, and he is going to talk to us about the new CR11 from New Holland, which looks a little bit like the Case Combine that just came out. And he's going to tell me about some of the new things that are coming out to help you guys, the end user, get through productivity, the new technology they've got with, keeping the ground looking better so it's easier to get that residue broke up in the fall. I remember when I was a kid playing with little combines and tractors out in the sandbox. Now to see something this big in fields is totally incredible. So Cole, tell me what New Holland has been doing to help the farmers out here.
Yeah, sure. So Nathan, good to see you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming out.
We'll just kind of give a little walking tour of the CR Next Gen machine, and that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the CR11 here. So we offer two models in the next generation chassis. The CR10, it comes in at 635 horse. Wow. And then the CR11 comes in at a top end of 775 horsepower.
Now, will the end user use every bit of that horsepower?
In fact,
or is that just the max it'll put out?
That's the max it'll put out, but we will find conditions when we get to the header and talking about what we can do with the machine where we want to use all the power.
I mean, I see these combines getting bigger horsepower, but it's like, do we? It would be nice to see a bigger combine that doesn't need as much horsepower.
Well, sure.
Because then the more horsepower, the more fuel. Now, a lot of people are getting more consumptions where they're changing that, where the load is not as strong, which pulls harder, so you're saving fuel.
So one thing to kind of consider is a gallons per acre. So the largest combine that we make may consume a larger amount of fuel, because of the larger engine. The smallest one we make, it's a Class 7 CR780, which is our flagship chassis. They are both going to have within a range of percentage of a similar gallon per acre consumption or usage. Because
how many gallon tank does this have on?
This holds 396 gallon of diesel.
And average, if on like a bean field, how long can that go?
Ideally, the way it's set up with the horsepower and the things that you're going to be doing is roughly a day.
So once a day fill up.
Yep, and so that day could range anywhere from 12, even up to 16, maybe even 20.
Well, I can hear you that. I have been in the fields at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we've been burning the fuel, that's for sure.
That is sure, So, and then, a lot of times when someone just adds power to a machine, it increases the productivity, but we have to do other stuff with the other components on the machine to utilize that the right way to get as much out of those components as we possibly can to get more capacity out of the machine.
Another thing I've noticed too is even with just Case, John Deere, a lot of the other companies, they're making the tracks wider, so you're getting more of a footprint on the ground. Now, I don't know if that's going to help with productivity, but definitely going to help with traction.
Well, traction and compaction. So as machines get larger, and tanks like this one holds 567
the more weight you put on it,
there will be more weight. So we have options, and this one's equipped with Smart Tracks. So it's a 36-inch belt, and it's spaced out wide to get good stability of the machine. And the concept and idea is that it's fully automatically suspended. So it can go up to 25 miles an hour.
Now, does it have the teeter for going up and down hills?
It has oscillation, both fore and aft. And then those bogey wheels, those small ones, and you'll see those basically, that's where the suspension lies, because that's carrying the bulk of the weight of the machine. And those bogey wheels can oscillate also independently. So they can rock or they can twist.
Now, so the twist would be, say, if you're coming up on this side, it has a hill.
That's right.
You're going to,
or rough spots in the field. So during our ride and drive activity that we did on Monday with some of the media folks, we actually were taking another track machine that we have out at the field demos, the one wrapped in the farm rescue.
I haven't been out to the field demonstrations yet,
but basically we were crossing cornstalk rows and it was smooth.
Couldn't even feel the stalks.
Couldn't even feel it.
Now that's another thing with. I know with tires and you get corn stalks, you want to get something on the back of your head to smash it, because corn stalks can tear up a tire pretty quick.
On the next gen corn header that comes that's matched up with this next gen combine, the 9200 series, you can actually get that from the factory on the one on the roads that just impact the tires, or the whole thing. The whole thing.
Well, so have you seen a lot of farmers using the whole width of the deal to put stalk stompers?
Yep, because
it helps break them stalks down.
It does that, and because of the grain cart that's running through the field. So we want to stomp the stalks so we save tires.
I've seen some tractors that have tracks in the front and back, even like a regular tractor like your New Holland over there.
Yep. So we make track options for the T8 series as well.
Kind of like the 8RX that John Deere came out with.
There you go.
Yeah. So I mean, that helps with not having have to worry about?
Sure. Like on the New Holland T8, we can get tracks on the back and wheels in the front, so it doesn't have quite as much berming, and we still have the maneuverability. Yep.
Do you guys have any tractors that have tracks front and back?
On the New Holland Smart Tracks T9s.
Oh, okay.
So the T9, which would
you guys don't seem to have any of those here this year.
It is here at the Ride and Drive.
Oh, okay.
So be sure to hop out there.
Check it out. If you guys are out here at the Farm Prairie Show or anywhere and they have this kind of stuff, you may not be seeing this video currently, but you guys have plans to take this stuff other places on the road?
Yeah, so basically what we're in the process of doing now, it's a limited launch for model year 25. So machines are hitting the ground right now, and they're in customer hands. They're actually running on the U.S. Harvest Run, as well as the U.S. Custom Harvest Run. That is the harvest run that goes from Texas all the way up into Canada. And then the Western Canadian market, they're just kicking off their harvest right now.
How long does it take to manufacture one of these?
You know, from a manufacturing standpoint, you know, the amount of time that it goes through the factory, you know, we could put our orders in around that June, July timeframe for a receiving date in that August to potentially September, maybe November. We can kind of select that receiving date. From a time of manufacturing, the way the line and stuff is kind of organized, they build components at a time and then it marries all together. Okay. So they did some really big restructuring to the plant to receive.
Well, I've noticed the auger, the unloading auger looks just a lot thicker, a lot bigger. What is that, like a 16, 13 inch?
So really what we do in with the next gen machine, we've kind of classified augers from a perspective of the header. So
making it bigger to clear the header.
Yep. And so basically we have an offering for 50-foot drapers all the way up to 61 foot.
Do they make longer augers than this?
Yep. So this is going to be either our top end or our next to top end.
Okay. I like how the end of it looks, a little spout.
So the pivoting spout, that's right. A great idea.
It looks like you got pretty good.
Well,
I know you guys can't see this, but I'll get some B-roll. But I've noticed sometimes, you know, the old boots, they would, you get stuff coming out and it bounce out and fall out into the ground.
Losses. And
losses.
So that's where this
boot around that looks like it feels pretty good.
Effectively what happens is it's a pivoting spout. So when we engage the auger, it comes into an operational state.
Oh, okay, so it folds back.
Yep, when we disengage the auger, it goes into an anti-dribble state.
Okay.
And so that was a function.
Now, does that have a door inside that closes?
It's like a bubble seal or a ball valve. If you kind of see the underside there, effectively as that moves up, it's like a little ball valve.
It shuts it off.
Yep,
okay.
It's no different than a fluid system.
I think one of the older combines that the guy I farmed for you actually had a door and it would shut. But if you had enough corn there, it wouldn't shut all the way.
That's right.
You'd be shaking back, you'd see corn dribbling.
Oh yeah, yep. And so there's different variations in the marketplace of how to keep that dribble from happening.
I mean, that's the end thing, guys. You want that grain from the header in the cart, in the bins, because eventually that's going to end up back in your bank account.
Well, right, and you spend all year to grow that crop.
You don't want to put something on the ground and then not be able to get it back up off the ground.
That's right.
I mean, the prices are crazy. I know the markets right now are not super good.
Sure.
The more you can get in there, I mean, corn's what, 4?
Yeah, well, and it comes down to efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Can we be more effective and more efficient with what we have on the farm? And this machine unlocks that capacity to get more done.
Anything new with the rotor?
Oh, absolutely. So
what's all new with that?
It's a whole new next generation machine. So in some of our trainings, we call it a clean sheet of paper combine. What I mean by that is in the development process, they basically geared all the components and all the things that they designed, the widgets, I'll say, the unique innovative features to basically say, all right, is this decreasing the total cost of harvesting? And if the answer was yes, they drove further in that direction. Okay. So for instance, one thing to improve the grain quality of the machine, at the front of the twin rotors that you see there, and we'll have the B-roll, of course, in the front of the twin rotors is the DFR.
Okay.
And that's basically the infeed rolling system that pushes the material in, and it's also a mechanical
comes from the header.
It comes from the header in the feeder house. The speed of that device on previous CR
is that automated to pick up more load?
Well, it is synchronized to the rotor speed.
Okay.
So in small grain crops, we tend to run a higher rotor speed to get more centrifugal force for the harder threshing wheat.
Right.
As we speed that up, it speeds that DFR up with it to a perfect synchronization.
So you're getting synchronization across the whole thing?
Yep, from that DFR into the rotors, and that it's driven
Where's
by
the DFR located?
Well, where that little bubble is, right there, just on the other side of the track. In fact, we use the left-hand rotor as a drive shaft.
Oh.
We come out of the left-hand rotor and go into a right-angle gearbox, and then goes into a belt drive that drives that DFR, and that infeeds the material. Edible soybeans, for instance, or edible beans. It's a specialty crop.
You can eat anything as long as it won't get you.
Well, yeah, but there's some there's some edible crops out there that are very sensitive to machine.
Right.
This allows us
green stuff. Combines do not like green stuff.
And this allows us to have a perfect sample because of that.
Now, that's another thing I want to elaborate, is some of the newer technology coming out to where harvesters and farmers can get out there and cut stuff when it is a little bit green, it'll still thrash through?
Absolutely.
So I've seen people that cut stuff that's a little green, and you end up plugging up your
there you go, the plug. There you go. So we've got an answer for that. So in the design process, this was another thing to keep you in the cab, keep the machine running. We have an automated deslug system. So
really? How's that work?
Well, what happens is if we overload the system, we can stall the rotor, and it plugs. No big deal. We just hit a few buttons on the display, and it goes through an auto deslug function. It utilizes a CVT drive on the PTO system of the engine, and it actually reverses. All the machine functions are running except for the rotor and the DFR, and it will reverse the rotors as well as the DFR, and then forward it back and forth.
While it's still bringing crop in?
Nope, this is you're in a 0 miles an hour situation. So it's going to push the material back and rock it and bring the slug through. And then you re-engage the threshing system, and then you're off to the races.
Fix it right out.
Yep. So I actually plugged it in North Carolina. A colleague of mine, we were with one of the prototype, or not a prototype, but a pre-built machine, marketing unit. We were just bebopping along, 50-foot head in wheat, and we didn't even hear the noise. It was basically a warning on the display, rotor stall.
We've hit like something that sounds like a pretty big stick or a rock.
Oh,
and we
sure.
see it fly out the back.
Yep.
Guess it made it.
Yep. But and so there's rock protection, of course, too, underneath that DFR. It shoots the rock into a trough underneath. But that rotor reverse is a lifesaver.
That sounds like, because I know there'll be several times you have to step on something, kick stuff.
Yep.
Sometimes it wouldn't spit out, and you got to go out there and pull it out.
And this process is completely automated. You stay in the cab, in the air conditioner or heater, depending on what time of year it is.
Well, we hope we're not having to run it. But it sounds like this year is going to be kind of quite cool this year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun harvest.
It's 45 degrees this morning, so I mean, it's chilly for August.
But that's some of the innovative features that they come up with. Now, as we come out of the rotor, there's a beater system, so effectively another type of a piece that's similar to the DFR. It's not the exact same component, but effectively the idea is then to beat the material and project it into the chopper system.
Okay, so this kind of comes up and then drops it into it.
Yep, so this one's actually equipped with an integrated chopper, so it's got the chopper right there. We can also have it on a hood mount. In either situation, that chopped material is then projected into these two spreaders here, and that's the Intella spread system. So effectively, as that material comes off the chopper and goes through this infeed roller, it's going to project the material straight down into these two impellers.
Is there a chopper spinning this way?
So it's actually integrated right behind the rotor assembly.
Okay.
As an option, we can have the chopper there, or imagine that as a beater without knives, and then put the chopper assembly right here. Okay. And that basically...
So is that chopper spinning this way or this way?
This way.
Okay, so it's counterclockwise.
It's counterclockwise, that's right.
And are the interchangeable knives? Is that something you have to change every so often?
Yep. So it contacts grain or contacts crop.
Now for wheat, you probably, if you're going to bale it, you probably want to raise them choppers.
That's right.
Because you don't want that stuff chopped.
That's right. There's a fixed knife in that rotation assembly, and we can pull that counter knife out.
So the bank's still spinning, but it's actually not chopping.
It's not chopping as bad. That's right. Okay. But if you do want to save straw in that type of situation, that's where we would work with the producer and the dealer to maybe consider the hood-mounted chopper system, because we can bypass the chopper completely.
In order to stop the chopper and put it in a windrow, what would you have to adjust in there?
It's all in the cab.
Oh, really? Yeah, you don't have to come out and raise the tail up anymore?
Nope. So you just hit a button in the cab if you want to swath or if you want to
spread.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then when that counter knife bank that I was talking about, that's that fixed knife bank that interacts with that chopper. We can change the position of that from the cab.
Is that all automated too?
Not yet.
Not yet. You got to go out, unloose it, shove it up.
So there's work on more automation on the machine all the time. But as of right now, what we do is we have the ability to see the load on the chopper belt. So we can determine a chopper load from a 0 to 100%. And then we have how far is the counter knife engaged. So what an operator will do is they'll use their eyes, look on the ground, and confirm that the chop quality is what they want.
All right, so you chop a little bit, get out, see how it looks, and then make your adjustments.
Yep, and then make your adjustments. And more often than not, you'll be able to retract those knives more, save more power, so we can drive faster with other components.
Well, I know, and in the fall tillage season, to me, the smaller the stuff.
That's right.
A lot of people use VT because they're wanting to get that stuff smaller. It rots quicker.
Yep, that's right. So that's where this comes in. So from a spread width standpoint, That's where Intella spread comes in.
Yeah.
So we want it chopped up to a certain length, like with the counter knife that we talked about, and it's going to utilize two of these sensors, one on the left-hand side and one on the right, and it's a radar sensor, and it senses the result of the residue coming out of here and determines if it's meeting the width of the header that we've typed in this case.
So if it's not spreading it as far,
it'll increase this.
Oh, it'll increase the speed.
It'll change the speed of the left or the right. The idea, think of different materials. So the wetter those soybeans are,
harder it is to throw it.
Yep. Or the drier, it could be chopped up too thin and not spread far enough.
Yeah.
Or
too
wind.
light. Gotta have enough wind. Yeah.
Yep. In Illinois, in Ohio, where I'm at in Ohio,
especially up north.
Yep. And so what it's sensing is it can see the residue being spread and decide if it's doing the right job or not. All happens automatically without any operator influence.
That's awesome.
Because it's a dust bowl behind it.
Less work you guys have to do. Right. The machine knows what it's doing. It's helping you in the end to be able to make your field look better, so you can till it up, get that nutrients back into the ground to help your crop for the following year.
Yep.
Less work you have to do in the fall, because I know some people, like up in Minnesota, you've got a limited time to get that crop off and get that ground tilled, because they freeze up quick up there.
That's right.
And when they freeze, I think they go.
It's
deep sometimes.
Deep. And then basically you're knocked out of doing it.
And then if you have a wet spring, you can't get out late. It takes longer to get the seed in the ground. So yeah, I mean, getting this stuff chopped up.
And really, you know, Nathan, another cool thing to think about is next year's crop. The first step of next year's crop is this device right here.
Getting it chopped up.
Because if you can get that spread even, you're going to have even temperature at emergence when you're at planting.
Right.
If we have a carpet here and no carpet here,
better emergence.
You're going to have perfect. And that's the key to success of a good crop is proper equal emergence across the farm.
Another thing I want to say from all the other guys I've been here with New Holland, with Case, with John Deere, with all the other guys, they're all about trying to help. A lot of people say, oh, New Holland's not as good, or John Deere's better than Case. I think they're all in this together. They're all out there to try to help you, the end user, make your crop, make stuff easier for you. They're not one better than the other. They're all out here making some awesome stuff. This is stuff that was in drawing books probably in the 50s that people thought about doing, but didn't have the technology. The technology is here now, and it's being developed day after day and day in. So we're going to go up and check out the header now, because this thing looks pretty sweet. So come up here and join us for that. Back up here with Cole, we're in the front of this big mammoth, and we're going to talk a little bit about the cutter bar. It is rigid, so it's not, as fields get bigger, hills get, you want to be able to get that head to contour. So if it's rigid and you got crop here and there's beans all the way down to here, that head's going to miss those beans. That's money in the grain tank and crop that could be in there. But the header in the old days used to not be that way. They didn't have. I mean, you had a little bit of flex, but you couldn't get it to bend down that low, to get them. Now that's all changed. They've got these awesome, Draper heads that have the contour. They're air ridden. And Cole, what has made this piece of equipment hit the market so quickly?
Oh yeah, so this is the FD250 Plus, so our partnership with MacDon.
It looks like a MacDon, honestly, when I've seen it first.
Supplier. We have a partnership with them in this New Holland FD250. Really, FD250 Plus. And so the big part of the Plus is the fact for this coming year, the actual knife itself that you see, the cutter bar, is no longer rigidly attached to that little block with the little steel piece. So it's floating? It's floating. It allows for 2 inches of float.
Okay.
Which is on top either way, up and down, which is on top of our flex from a frame standpoint. So an easy way to kind of imagine this is it's almost in line with the split reels. You see the 3-section reel?
Yep.
The reason those splits are where they are is where the pivot point is. So, and that's all all controlled by the header from a spring standpoint. Light as a feather.
Is that something that the end user in the cab can change?
So it's either locked or unlocked.
Okay.
And then that whole main frame there is also on another subframe. So the whole thing can rock left and right, and then these wings can bend up and down, and then the front knife. So
now, is there a way to move the head, like tip it to where it's more pointed, or tip it back where it's more flat?
Absolutely. And what Nathan's talking about is the knife angle. So we can do that from the header side. When we say header side, we can also do it from the combine side.
Okay.
In this particular setup, we'll use the header end as to do that angle adjustment, and that's really a factor of cut quality. So we can tip the knife closer to get more razor to get closer to the ground.
Right.
But if we have a lot of rocks in our field, we may want to tip that back. So it's a game. I'll say it's a game you play as an operator. Most if anyone listening or watching it, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
And then you guys probably have a rock trap. I know the honeybees have rock. Do you guys have rock traps set up in the front of your head?
So what happens is, because of the angle of the belt, the rock usually rolls back down, and it does kind of land in that front center dead zone that we'll call. But a lot of times you can see that rock. Usually it stops on the knife.
Right. Now, I don't know if it'd be any type of way, but adjusting the angle of the belt, does that help with if you get a lot of grain on there and it's starting to roll down? So because it's heavy.
Great question. Effectively, when we're adjusting this knife angle, it's the whole header frame.
Oh, okay.
So it will move everything in.
Okay.
In that
so it'll tip the belt back.
And then there's an indicator on the backside of the header that the operator can see, and then there's a depth indicator for how far down is that subframe versus the main frame of the header.
Now you've got it pretty ridged up here. How many inches you think that is from raised up? Is that about 2?
Yeah, so it's 2 inches of flex of the knife itself, and then an additional 14 from the wings and from the subframe. So we can have up to 16 inches of flex.
Nice. And what sizes of heads do you guys carry these in?
Yep. So the FD2 Plus series comes up to 50. So it starts around 30 foot and goes up to 50 foot from an FD2 series by itself without the 2-inch flex on the front here. We go up to 61 foot.
So once you get past that 50
foot,
you start losing your flex.
That's right. Yep. So there's only one model outside the 50, the 61 foot.
Now with the 30-inch, do you still have the flex in the 30?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So 30 to 50 you have flex, and then after that you lose. Is there any way to put the flex into the 60s?
So you still have the wing flex on the 60.
Right.
You just the knife is rigid.
Knife edge.
The knife edge is going to be rigid, and that's how the FD2 series is today. And so yeah, you can option to the FD2 Plus on the 50.
So another thing I wanted to ask, is there a lot of grease points or service points on these pieces of equipment?
That was one of the factors that they talked about. This total cost of ownership that we were discussing. So there are grease circs, but there are no daily grease circs.
Okay. What are the hour settings on those?
Anywhere from 50 all the way up to 600.
Okay.
Yeah, and it just varies on what device it is or what.
Nice. And hopefully they're easy to get to.
Oh yeah. Yep. We've designed that in mind too. In fact, it has.
There's an excavator that a friend of mine has, and it's by Volvo. There's one point on the excavator that you can literally put the grease gun in, and it greases every single point.
Yep. So a grease bank.
Yeah.
So we're starting to see some of that on the self-propelled sprayers and some of our other vehicles. We tend to put on a combine in general. We tend to try to put as many together as we can. Okay. There's separate zerks. But they're usually in one bank.
Together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And that's how the sprayer is set up. So we're always thinking of stuff like that.
But yeah, guys, this thing's pretty cool. It's got some hellacious lights on the front. That's another thing I'm noticing, and that's another thing. A lot of farmers want to work later.
Yes, right. Yep.
So we got to get the lighting out there. And I've noticed a lot of the new equipment. When you guys are putting lighting on equipment, do you guys run these things and test them at night?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the testing cycle on a vehicle like this, I mean, it's not in months or days; it's in years.
Because I know, like, the guy that I farm for always likes to look behind him so he can see what's coming out behind him. Yep. When you're turning, you want to be able to see what's behind you, especially cutting off them in-rows. Yep. Another thing with the auger bending back, I think you can leave that folded even while you're operating.
That's right. Yep.
Because I've seen some farmers that have caught some trees and them augers are not straight anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean...
But yeah, from a lighting perspective,
it's all LED.
Yep, LED. And really, I'll say this with one last quote: horsepower and lighting, we can never have enough.
Yeah, no, I mean,
to a producer.
Just like old Tim Toolman Taylor used to say, more power.
There you go.
So,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, but guys, come on, check us out. This is their 50th year being in business. 50 years of making awesome combines, from the little combine to this one. It's all here. There's history here. There's equipment. There's balers. There's a straw bale. There's loaders. I mean, every piece of equipment you could ever need on your farm is here. And I want to thank Cole for talking to us a little bit about this thing. There'll be some information down below and a couple emails if you guys want to contact these people and get more information. Make sure you're talking to your representative and getting information that we may have not talked about. Ask questions. You can never have enough questions.
Yeah, as I say, and if you do have questions, Nathan and the folks watching, just search New Holland Agriculture on any of the social media channels or visit newholland.com and find your facing dealer and reach out to them for more information.
There you go. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
All right, deal.
Thank you.
All right.